What's up, guys? Kevin Allen here, aka the Geek from DFS Army, and this is your FanDuel NFL Week 16 first look, where we're going to take a look at the FanDuel pricing for the main slate. We're going to go position by position. We're going to look at the matchups, and we're going to pick out an initial sort of team that we like, but after having broken down pretty much the whole slate, top to bottom, or as much as we can early in the week. Let's get ready. Let's get ready to crush it again. Week 15 was awesome. If you watched the video, we broke it down. We were all about the Bills Lions game, and we stacked it and went crazy with it. Goff went nuts. Goff went crazy. Allen went crazy. It was a great overall week if you were attacking that game. There isn't quite a game like that this week on the slate. No one that stands out above all the others. No precious. But we're going to have to break it down anyway. We've got some interesting games to look at here. So let's get started here. First up, we've got the Rams at the Jets. 46.5 pointer. This is actually a really exciting game. And normally Jets games are not like exciting ones, but I mean, between Puka and the Rams and the way that Devontae Adams is playing for the Jets and even Aaron Rodgers, like this is a game that will be on the top of the mind. It's also one of the few games that seems hyper competitive, really close matchup this week. So we'll keep an eye on that one for sure. Next up, we've got the Browns at the Bengals, and the Browns, they're benching Jammo. No more Jammo. End of an era? Why? Why are you doing this? Don't do it. But they are benching Jameis, which means they're probably not going to be competitive at all in this matchup, which kind of ruins the Bengals, if I'm being honest. The only thing interesting, I guess, on the Brown side is with the injury to Nick Chubb last week, you've got sort of Jerome Ford, no real competition for touches. But I think the Browns will have a hard time generating any kind of offense with that terrible quarterback. So I'm loath to even mess with Ford unless he's really, really inexpensive here on FanDuel. We'll see. We'll see. On the Bengals side, I don't really like their offense when we're dealing with games that are going to be non-competitive, which is, I think, what we're dealing with here. So we're probably going to avoid that one for the most part. Titans at the Colts. Titans benching Will Levis, bringing out Mason Rudolph. I think Rudolph is probably better than Levis, but he's not very good. But he's probably better than Levis. Overall. As far as the Colts go, Richardson at home, never going to give you a lot of volume, but he could put up a lot of fantasy points. So I am definitely interested in Anthony Richardson, maybe stack with one, maybe a little Richardson to Downs stack or something like that. I'll have to think about that one. Giants at the Falcons. The debut of Michael Penix for the Falcons. They're benching Kirk Cousins for this game. That's interesting. He's a rookie. I did look him up a little bit, try to see if he had any kind of legs in college, any kind of running skills. Did not do a whole lot of rushing. Doesn't mean he can't do it, just means he didn't do it. So as far as his overall statistics, not slow. I mean, 4.7 40, that is pretty quick. Actually, that's one of the faster quarterbacks that you're going to see anyway. So, but nothing compared to like a wide receiver or a running back. So, has some speed, doesn't really use it, was really good in college, threw for lots of touchdowns, had a lot of experience in college. Look, I mean, the guy went to college for like 8 years. I don't know how, but he was just there for a while. COVID, got a year off. I don't know. I finally started the last couple seasons and did really well. 35-9, 31-8 in terms of touchdown interception ratio. So pretty good. So anyway, with that being said, Penix will be starting for the Falcons, which makes the whole game a bit of a mystery. As far as the Giants go, I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be at this point. They've gotten a lot of injuries to the QB position, but they're also actively trying to lose games. So it's hard to get excited about anything with the Giants at this point. Not to say their offense can't do something, but they seem like they want that first pick. All right. Eagles at Washington. Now, this almost was a game of the week, but, I've noted that the game total is not very high, 45.5 points. Both teams play really good defense. Now, both teams have really good, exciting quarterbacks at the helm, and both teams are really competing in that NFC East. So I think this will be an awesome game. I do think it can lead to some serious fantasy goodness as well. So we'll have to definitely keep that game in mind. But I have some concerns about the low total. Cardinals at the Panthers. Cardinals are set as 25 as road favorites in this one. The game has a 47-point total, and the team total for the Cardinals 25.5. Not bad, not bad at all. We've got some good production out of both of these offenses, but on the Cardinal side, James Conner really stands out in this matchup. Panthers' run defense has been the worst in the league, and Trey Benson is hurt and probably not going to play in this one. So I think it's going to be another James Conner gets all the touches kind of game, which could work out nicely for him. On the Panthers side, Xavier Legette got hurt last week. That's not a huge deal breaker, but probably means more Adam Thielen. Next up, we've got the Lions at the Bears. 48-point total. I really like this game. The last time these two teams clashed, there was a lot of fantasy production from both sides. So I could see more of that as well. I even like the Bears side here with Caleb and those pass catchers. The team's just slinging it, and they don't have a very good running back. So all of their work is done through the air, which I really like in terms of the predictability. I kind of think that even in a massive loss for the Bears, this could be one of those games where we could get good production from the Bears pass catchers and even potentially Caleb. Next up, we've got the Vikings at the Seahawks. Will he or won't he play? I don't know. Geno got hurt last week. Not sure what his story is. We'll see. Vikings kind of doing their thing. Had a big game from Justin Jefferson last week. And this could be a spot that's good for JJ and even Aaron Jones. So some definite possibilities in this one. Next, we got the Bills at home taking on the Patriots. And this is a smash game. 46.5-point total. The Bills bring the highest team total on the slate at 30.25 points. I just want to point this out. The Bills are not the style of team that requires the other team to be scoring for them to produce. They will just keep pouring on the points no matter what. Of course, last week, when both teams are producing, it gets crazy, and you get those monster games like last week. I don't think that's in the cards here, but I could see, the Bills getting 30, 35 points in this game and getting a bunch of touchdowns, and then it just depends on where they come from. If they're not rushing touchdowns, then Josh Allen will probably smash. Or if he rushes for some of them, then he'll probably smash again, even in a non-competitive environment. So I want to keep that in mind. I would have no interest in the Patriots there. 49ers at the Dolphins, 44.5-point total. Close game. Really close spread here. Basically a pick'em game, and that makes sense. Both teams have struggled a little bit as of late. Rough game for the Dolphins last week. San Francisco just kind of having a rough season, if you ask me. Don't hate me, but just kind of having a rough season. And I don't know what to make of this game. Really, my favorite plays on San Francisco have been, Juwan Jennings, Kittle, and of course, the running back this week will be Garendo. And I think those guys are all very playable. On the Dolphins side, it looked like Waddle got hurt last week. We'll see about that. If Waddle is out, you have to like Jonnu Smith here. And of course, Tyreek Hill's had his ups and downs this season, but they're really not going to throw to anybody else. So, and I'd also be elevating Achane there as more of a wide receiver / running back role. Couple more games here. Jaguars at the Raiders. Raiders, not sure who's going to play quarterback for them. AOC. Des Ridder was terrible last week. We've seen him play well in his career, but he was really bad last week. And then on the Jaguars side, actually, Mac Jones has been playing pretty well. I think there's a couple of interesting pieces on the Jaguars. I don't know about the running back. I'm not sure if I can trust ETN again, but Brenton Strange, the tight end, got 13 or 12 targets last week, and the Raiders are notoriously bad at stopping tight ends. So I like that situation. And of course, Brian Thomas Jr. has been a phenom. I think, he's right up there with Malik Neighbors and Lad McConkey, I would say, as sort of the best producing rookie wide receivers so far. Sorry, I did have to leave out Marvin Harrison Jr. He's just been I think these other guys have been better. Finally, the Bucs at the Cowboys, 48.5-point total. And the more I think about it, the more excited I get about this game. Sunday Night Football. Cooper Rush has not been bad. It's been a great year for Baker Mayfield. I think Dallas defense is a smidge better than we kind of give them credit for. They're not a bad defense, pretty good. It's taken them a while. This year they weren't good early. They've kind of come around a little bit, but that's not going to help that much against a really, really good Bucs offense. Bucs defense has been very, very bad as well. So I think this game has potential on both sides for an explosion. So that is definitely a game I want to build around this week. All right, let's get into the breakdown. We're going to go position by position, and we're going to just talk a little bit about each of these players, and we're going to get through almost every player on the entire slate. So stay with me. We're going to try to do it all in probably 15 more minutes. So let's fucking go, right? Starting at the top here, we've got Josh Allen again in that game against New England, where I don't think the Bills need that much from their opponent in order for Allen to have a smash game. They really just needed the touchdowns not to go to the running backs. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but the Bills are a team where you never know. So I don't mind Josh Allen. 9,400 is quite a price point. Let's see what he scored last week. Yeah, I mean, 54 and 44 over the last 2 weeks. He's been so good, 28, 24. It's just been a great season for Josh Allen, and I think it continues here. They should style on the Patriots. Bills at home, great stuff. It's also Buffalo. It's winter, so who knows what the weather's going to be like by the time that game rolls around. Next, we got Hurts and the Eagles taking on the Commanders. And again, this is another spot. The game total's not as high as I would like to see, but Hurts has been spectacular at times this year, coming off a 28-pointer. Nice week last week in a tougher matchup. Say 19, 27, 36. So, yeah, I mean, he's producing enough. He's been hurt a little bit by the fact that Saquon Barkley's been so great. I think it's generally going to be one or the other. It's rarely going to be both. So we'll see what happens here. Joe Burrow, I don't like this spot at all against a non-competitive Cleveland team. I warned you guys a little bit on Burrow last week that, I didn't think Tennessee could be competitive. And actually, they were more competitive early. And I was like, oh, man, I was wrong about that. But then they fell apart. And as expected, Joe Burrow kind of just had an okay game. This was definitely not enough of a score to be relevant in tournaments. And I think we're going to see the same. We'll get a nice game from Burrow, but probably not what we need to win a tournament because the Browns will not be able to put pressure on him. Jaden Daniels, other side of this Eagles game. Eagles are a good defense, but I don't know if they're good enough to fully stop Jaden Daniels. He's been so freaking good. Not like fantasy amazing, but just a good quarterback. And for a rookie, the sky's the limit for this kid. I really like him. And I think this could be a fine spot for Jaden Daniels. I'm not sure why I would want to play him over Hurts if they're around the same price. It's kind of, two of one, half of the other. Does that make sense? I don't even know what I just said. All right. Baker Mayfield. Yeah, I like this game. I like this matchup. Nothing wrong with it. Baker's a little priced up for kind of like the pocket passer that he is, but he certainly had 3 or 4 games here, 29, 31, 29, 31. That's what you're hoping for. 8, 16, 24, 32. Anything over 24 is okay, but you're really looking closer to 30, 31 for Baker, and he's proven that he can get there. So sure, why not? Kyler Murray at the Panthers. This game, Panthers defense not very good, allowing lots of points to opposing QBs. Why not? Why not? I don't, it could happen, but it could also be a James Conner game. So buyer beware there. Let's see what Goff did last game against Chicago. Not the best, putting up a 17-point score the last time these two teams played. Of course, Goff coming off the monster game last week, 5 touchdowns. Are you serious? 500 yards. What? That's crazy. What a game. But, this game against Chicago is a little bit better of a defense. Chicago's going to play the game a little slower. So I don't think we have the same kind of upside here this week. And I'm probably not necessarily excited about Goff here. Darnold, nice little spot here also against Seattle. I want to see who the quarterback is for Seattle and really make my final thoughts here. Darnold had a game a couple weeks ago, 37-pointer, where he absolutely smashed, was the nuts Millie Maker type winner. So, just noteworthy. He can do it, but most of the season has been kind of mid from him. Some mid-20s for the mid guy, 23, 22, but a lot of sub 20-point scores. So, there's nothing about this game that stands out. I think Seattle would need to have their quarterback in healthy, like Geno healthy and playing well, in order to put enough pressure on the Vikings here to sort of pump the score. Tua coming off a disappointing game last week, only 196 yards, 3 interceptions, just looked really bad out there. And I don't know, no excuses. I guess Houston defense was good. Miami always plays a little less good on the road. We'll see how they bounce back here at home against the kind of a struggling 49ers team. So we'll see how this one goes. But I could see Tua bouncing back here. And, we have to see if Waddle is going to be healthy and what the story is there. Yeah, Brock Purdy also kind of a disappointing game last week against the Rams. It's hard to get it back on board here. The 49ers kind of seem spiraling a little bit right now. I guess you turn around here, but Miami defense is pretty good. I'm not sure how much faith I have in this game to produce big scores. I have to let the week move on a little bit, and we'll think on that one. Richardson. Yeah, Richardson can pop at any time. At 7,400, I like the price point. He's not a great quarterback. He's not a great thrower. The accuracy is terrible, but, he does throw bombs. He can run a little bit. I'm not seeing enough of the rushing yards as I'd like to. Let's see, 7, 9. He's hitting about 45, which is not bad. When he hits 45 and a touchdown, understand that's just most of his score. He needs that second touchdown to get over 20 or to have a random game where he throws it really well. So it could happen. I definitely like him in tournaments. I'm really thinking about how many, what levels of contest I'm going to be playing somebody like that in. Like, I love him in tourneys. Why not? But is it cash viable? Probably not. Aaron Rodgers in that home game against the Rams. I'm loath to chase Aaron Rodgers directly. Even last week in like his best game of the year, he still didn't really even throw for 300 yards. I don't even know. He ran 45 like 5 of these points were rushing yards. He got the 3 touchdowns. So yeah, it was decent, but I don't think we can expect that from him most of the time. I'm probably not going to chase Aaron Rodgers' big game here. Sorry. Geno, again, don't know if he's going to play. Caleb Williams. I like Caleb Williams. I like the price at 7,200. That's really not bad. He's at home. Had a great situation the last time these two teams played. I think this is a very comfortable quarterback to build around this week. Yeah, he put up a 26 the last time. Had, accuracy issues, but certainly had a good overall performance. I am thinking about Caleb as my guy here. There's another quarterback there. I mean, there's some others that we could pay up for. If we're going to pay down, though, I don't mind Caleb, but there's some other ones that I do want to mention here. I'm going to skip Stafford. I don't really like that spot on the road. Coming off an 8. Pretty gross. Kirk Cousins is benched, so Jameis Winston benched. So, but, Cooper Rush is another quarterback. He gets the nut matchup against the Bucs, and he's not been terrible. Threw for 214 and 3 touchdowns last week. He's got since he's been starting 19, 20, I don't love it. I don't think there's a ton of upside here. I don't think he's going to win us a tournament, but I think he's noteworthy just in the fact that he has not been terrible, and players from Dallas are playable. Finally, I want to point out a couple others. Yeah, Mac Jones. This might be the guy. This might be the play. He's also had pretty good performances since he came in to start. Here's a 20. Here's another 20. So he's hit that 20 marker a couple times. Again, not a ton of upside there, but certainly 7, 14, 21 has the chance to 3x his salary off this level. And finally, it's Michael Penix, a.k.a. the Penix, that is priced at 6K. I can't even find him. He's so buried. There he is. Buried. 6K. Michael Penix. You know what? I'm telling you right now, I will have some Penix exposure in tournaments this week. Why? I don't know. He's a rookie. He's probably going to play terrible, but at 6K, they really only need to get like 20 fantasy points to have, to be more than worthy of rostering. Do I think you get there? Not so sure, but I'm going to play a little bit just for shits and gigs. It is a fairly easy matchup in terms of, I don't think it's that tough of a matchup against the Giants. But to start us off in the first look, I'm going to go with, I'd like to go with Allen. Yeah. Let's roll out Baker Mayfield here. He's comfortable to build around, and let's see how this comes together. It's tough because I will tell you the running backs, we do want to spend some money on these guys. There's some really great running back spots that I think we got to get into here. So let's start at the top of the running back position. We got Saquon, of course. Saquon's always great. 9,100. If we can get there, awesome. Bijan, now with the backup quarterback, I'm a little more sketch on him, but I think we'll get a ton of carries. Let's see what he's coming off. 22 carries, another couple targets. The volume's been there. It's really been solid Bijan week after week. Here we got James Cook also coming out off of a monster game. But I also saw the Bills using Ty Johnson and Davis and a lot of different other running backs, which is why James Cook is always a scary play. 14 carries. As much as a great score he had, he only had 14 carries and 1 target. So he had to rush for 2 touchdowns to get there. I don't like the chances of that repeating. Kyron Williams, I don't really like Kyron right now. It's just been a lack of targets in the passing game for him. So, that's less than ideal. James Conner gets the nut matchup. I think we got to play James Conner here. He gets the nut matchup against the Panthers. Trey Benson is hurt. So Conner is getting all the touches. I'm going to slide him in there. The next one I'm going to slide in here is Jahmyr Gibbs as well. With Montgomery out, Gibbs is just set to dominate. If you have Jahmyr Gibbs, you're really excited about the stretch here of the season. Your fantasy playoffs, if you're still alive, you're looking good with Jahmyr. So, no Montgomery means we're basically getting 2 players. Think about it. Jahmyr Gibbs was putting up quality scores with Montgomery also in there getting touchdown after touchdown. Now, it's like 2 players in one. Jahmyr is a lock button for me for the rest of the season. They haven't priced him up high enough, I think. I like Chase Brown as well this week at home as a favorite. He's been great. Look at those volume. 25 carries, targets. He does everything you want from a running back, and he really just does not cede any touches to anyone. So I'd be pretty comfortable plugging in Chase Brown right there. No worries. Connor, Gibbs, Brown. But we might find some other ones. Let's keep going. Let's see who else is available. Yeah, Devon Achane, sure. I like him as well. Kind of similar to Jahmyr Gibbs. He does cede some touches. He'll rarely get more than the really 15 or so carries, but he's been heavily used in the passing game, and I think that will look a lot better in a game where Miami is winning. So we want these favored running backs, and I can't even remember if Miami's favored. Let's go back and check. Barely. So, yeah, I do like my favorite. Yeah, that's right. They're 1-point favorites. It was basically a pick 'em. Let's see here. Garendo, underdog, but okay. Jonathan Taylor, my guy, man. Come on, bro. You're dropping the ball. So the fumble actually cost you 2 points. Instead of getting the 6 points, this guy drops the ball as he's running in to do the celebration last week. And, of course, it fucked over everybody who has Jonathan Taylor. Not only do you not get the 6 points, you get a -2 for the fumble. It's just a disaster. Not cool. But other than that, he was having a really good day. So technically, he's probably a decent play here against the Titans team that's just not very good, and they're not going to be ahead in this game, and it's always going to be close. Oh, man. Interesting. Aaron Jones, very playable as well. Let's take a look at what he did last week. 18 carries, 3 targets, decent score against Chicago. So I think Aaron Jones against Seattle should do really well. Seattle's less good. Seattle's kind of a worse defense than Chicago. Rico Dowdle in the late game. I don't mind that for 7,300. Tons of volume as well last week, or 25 carries. I mean, look at all those. No targets, though. But 25 carries is insane. He had a much better matchup last week. There's Chuba Hubbard priced down to 7,100. Thank you, FanDuel. DraftKings leaving him priced up there after that disappointing performance. Just did not see the volume that he's been seeing all season. Yeah, Rashad. I'm just trying to see who the low-cost guys are. We might get another shot at Charbonnet, which I don't think is terrible. B-Rob, not the best spot against the Eagles, but Jerome Ford here, he's getting all the touches, even though I don't like this Cleveland offense. They stink. Actually, it'd be awesome if they put Jamo in there, but they stink with DTR. No, thank you. Ramondre, no. Tyrone Tracy, probably no. Don't know who the quarterback is for the Giants, so I don't like that. Travis Etienne, 14 carries, 5 targets last week. Let's see what Bigsby did. 11 carries, 1 target. So what's the takeaway here? Etienne is the starter. He's getting a little more of the work. 6,300, not the worst price in the world against the Raiders. Raiders not that good of a team. So, yeah, I think Travis Etienne might be in play, but I don't see a big score. Yeah, Tajay Spears has basically his best game of his career last week. Pollard would need to be out or hurt, and I have not heard anything about Pollard having any issues. So no, still no. There is another name I wanted to mention. A couple of names here. One is Chris Rodriguez, sort of in the Montgomery role for Detroit, maybe, right, or maybe not. Maybe it's all Jameer. That's the wrong guy. Craig Reynolds, not Chris Rodriguez. Yeah, Craig Reynolds. Here we go. Craig Reynolds potentially in the Montgomery role for the Lions, but he's done it before. He's kind of gotten some of those looks in the past, but I don't know. It seems really thin. The other name is Amir Abdullah, who, am I still on the search here? Yeah. Amir Abdullah was the guy that kind of just got all the touches for the Raiders last week. And, their main guy, I guess, Sincere McCormick gets hurt. I thought they were going to bring in Alexander Madison, but no, they went with Amir Abdullah. Now, why they did this, I am at a loss for it, but Abdullah ended up putting a big score, 7 targets, 7 receptions, got some carries. It was just an ugly game in general, but, if we need these super, super cheap options, there are a couple of them. I'm definitely not going that way. All right, let's jump over to defense before we look at wide receiver and tight end. I want to talk about the cheapest viable defense, and it is very cheap. And I'm talking about the New York Giants here, going up against the rookie, Michael Penix. Now, I already said I'm interested in Penix this week, but, I'm also interested in paying down at the defense, and rookies make mistakes. So I like this Giants defense here at 3,100, the cheapest viable defense by far. But let's take a look at the rest of them here. Raiders, not super excited, but I guess if they're at home against Mac Jones, they'd also be viable. And again, these are teams trying to lose, but they're somewhat viable. Panthers, probably not. Cowboys, no. No to Commanders, no. Chicago. Jacksonville, if it is Des Ridder again, I wouldn't mind Jacksonville, as crazy as that seems, but only if it's Des Ridder. Dolphins, no. Rams, no. Seattle, no. Titans, maybe. So that's the next one, right? We got Anthony Richardson, who I like and I'm happy to play him this week, but doesn't mean he's not going to turn it over, pick 6. You know how it goes. Atlanta, yes, right? Who's the Giants rolling out a QB? Is it Cutlets? I don't know. They're getting hurt. They got the 4th stringer in there. So the Giants could be a complete disaster. They are a shit show. And actually, Falcons defense is very much a viable, playable defense this week. Eagles, no. Bengals, yes. Just like last week. Dorian Thompson, DTR, not good. So the quarterback for the Browns, not good. Bengals can style, just like they styled last week against Will Levis. It could happen again here for 4,400. They're priced up a little bit. Cardinals, maybe. No. Vikings, maybe. Colts, no, or not, probably not. Detroit, no, and no. Yeah, and the Bills, fine. So there are some pay-up options that are okay, but we certainly got a bunch of middling priced defenses that we can go right to, and especially right down here at the bottom. Like I said, I don't. Of course, I have Giants in here, but I don't mind the Raiders. I don't mind the Cowboys. So there's a few spots here that I think are doable. We're going to go with the cheapest, though, because I want to spend on the other positions. Let's see here. All right, so we started this one with Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans is priced incredibly high, but Baker Mayfield has really not ever had a monster game without Mike Evans. So if we went that way, I'd have to plug him in. And as I'm thinking about that, I am not liking it. So not to say that there's anything wrong with that starting stack, but the price of Evans is really expensive, and I don't think I can achieve a good lineup right now at this point in the week with him in there. You know what? I will play Baker, but we'll get different elsewhere because I really do like this game, and I don't think I can feel comfortable playing Cooper Rush. So I guess we'll go with this one. I also like that it's the late game, and you have no idea if you're doing well, and then all of a sudden your guys come out of nowhere and smash. So I'm going to leave off Mike Evans, though, but we're going to play Baker Mayfield there, and we'll talk through some of the positions again, and then we'll get to the stack. So starting at the top, Jamar Chase. Yeah, I mean, he's part of that Bengals game that I don't think is going to kind of explode, so it's probably not the way I'm going to go. Justin Jefferson, hell yeah, every week, sure. Puka also, even with a bad matchup, I don't mind it against the Jets. Probably prefer Justin Jefferson, though. If I'm in this range, I might as well just play JJ here. That's part of my issue with Mike Evans. He's a little too close to these studs, so might not be needed. We'll see. A.J. Brown, yeah. A.J. Brown's actually coming off a pretty good game. 11 targets, they got him involved. Like, squeaky wheel got the cheese, I guess. Amon-Ra, very much like Amon-Ra here at 8,600. Again, I think this game has upside potential as well, but I'll play Amon-Ra in games built in lineups built around this game. CeeDee Lamb, again, the game that I'm talking about right now. CeeDee Lamb, can he put up a monster score with Cooper Rush at QB? That remains to be seen, but he's certainly going to get a ton of targets, and he has a great matchup. Devontae coming off the game of the year, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think we'll get more of the same from him. I think Rodgers is fixated on Adams, and they're just having fun together here in their sort of last few games with the Jets, so I don't think anything's going to change. Rodgers will continue to pepper that guy with double-digit targets every single week, and it's going to be glorious. I'd love to get him in this lineup, but again, it just doesn't make sense with this. But yes, I will have a ton of Devontae this week. Cooper Kupp, after the donut, he's dead to me. Malik Neighbors, no quarterback, no bueno. McLaurin, brutal matchup. Jackson Smith and Jigba, don't know who the quarterback is. Higgins, Look at Tyreek Hill, priced down to 7,700. Right on this slate, I think that's very, very doable, very playable. Yes, has he not been on fire lately? Sure, I get it, but doesn't matter. Tyreek Hill is awesome, and at 7,700, that is just too little for him. We don't have the salary remaining to do that, so we're going to have to kind of stick to a lower cost group of wide receivers, or I think we will. So let's see. Metcalf, nope. Drake, London, nope, not with the rookie. Brian Thomas Jr. is an interesting play here, and I like him very much. Brian Thomas Jr. just getting peppered with targets, 14, 12, and 10 over the last 3 weeks. More of the same is coming. So it's a good matchup against Las Vegas. Why not? Jerry Jeudy, no. Garrett Wilson, yes. Right? I do think Devontae's the better play. So if Garrett Wilson's in there, he's kind of like, if you're stacking Rodgers, you want to kind of Rodgers, Devontae, and Garrett. Like if Rodgers ain't smashing unless they're both smashing, probably. Juwan Jennings is fine. Certainly playable. 9 targets last week. Did not have a lot of results, but definitely is getting targeted aplenty. Jordan Addison also. Yeah, I target Addison specific in games where I think the opponent can shut down Jefferson. This isn't that. Marvin Harrison, said at the beginning, kind of disappointing season for him. K-Shack, yes. Debo, no. And here we go. So I do like, based on how much salary we have left over, we're going to have to live in this zone. And this is not a bad place to be right now, I don't think. So a couple of interesting plays here. We got DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I'm pretty confident one of these guys is going to have a good game. I think we can go with Keenan Allen because he continues to get more targets. But DJ Moore, I like that they're priced same, and I don't even mind using both of them, but we'd have to swap to Caleb in that approach, so I'm not quite ready for that. Adam Thielen playable, Jameson Williams playable. couple nice spots here that are attackable. But if we're going to pair somebody up with Baker Mayfield, I think we might have to go with Jalen McMillan. He's had a couple good games. He's very inexpensive. This lineup requires that. Yeah, I think we can play Jalen McMillan here in the stack with Baker. Let's see how this comes together. Yeah, we're still stuck at 59.50. So again, part of the issue is if we're going to play these expensive running backs, we have to understand that, and a pricey quarterback especially, you're going to run into salary concerns. So let's take a look at the tight end position and see what we can see here. And yeah, starting at the top, Brock Bowers, kind of ruined by the quarterback, unless AOC comes back. That's better. Kittle's okay. McBride's been great this year. Jonnu Smith, though, I feel like if Waddle's hurt, Jonnu Smith will absolutely shine in this matchup. Then we gap down from Jonnu Smith to Laporta at 6K. Laporta was somebody I loved last week, and I think he was the first look quarterback. 10 targets, 7 receptions, 111 yards. Did not get us the touchdown, but still had a smash score. Imagine if he got the touchdown. That would have been amazing. Cade Otton is somebody that we could probably just potentially pair up with Baker, but it is noteworthy that it's been almost forever since he's had a big game. So I'm lacking some confidence there. The guy I want to actually play is Brenton Strange, who is coming off of a 12 target, 11 reception bonanza. If he scores a touchdown, oh my goodness. So I like him for 5,200. Just save money at the tight end position, and it leaves us 6,700 for our final spot. Not loving it. Not loving it at all. Not loving this at all. So I do like a couple of these names, but we're going to have to leave some salary, or actually we'll be able to adjust up our defense. So what I want to do here, we already talked through all these wide receivers, but this Detroit-Chicago game stands out. Chicago does have an elite CB1. They are shutting down top wide receivers frequently, which means that Detroit, in order to generate offense, might have to go to the WR2, which is Jameson Williams. So it could also be Sam Laporta. But let's go with Williams here. He's a touchdown scorer, and we left ourselves $600. We can upgrade the defense here. Let's see if we can get somebody better. Maybe not. Nope. Imagine that. 700. The only thing better, Raiders? The Raiders? No. This is terrible. Dallas, maybe? No, definitely not in this lineup. Bears, no. Jacksonville, maybe. Rams at the Jets, no. I'm going to leave it. Let's see where we can spend the 700. Wait a minute. We can go up to Bijan from Connor, or wait a minute. We could play a running quarterback and switch it all up. That would make me not want to play Jalen McMillan, however. Let's see if there's somebody else hanging around here that is just as playable. The Riddler. You know what? How about the Riddler with Mason Rudolph at QB? Maybe he could do a little bit better. All right. We pivoted at the very end. We're going to play naked Jalen Hurts. We've got James Conner, Jahmyr Gibbs, smash. On the flip side of the Chicago game, we've got Keenan Allen in there. We've got Jamo Williams, who's a piece of this high-scoring Detroit-Chicago game, and a comeback again against Keenan Allen here. So a couple of pieces, 2 pieces from Detroit and a piece from Chicago. Chase Brown, heavy favored running back. James Conner, heavy favored running back. Jahmyr Gibbs, favored running back. And Brenton Strange coming off of 13 targets at tight end. I'll take it. That's going to do it for NFL Week 16, the first look, of course. I will be back. We'll be breaking it down with the Tournament Tactics crew on Friday. So make sure to check that out. If you guys are not DFS Army subscribers, we'd love for you to come check out DFS Army. Promo code Geek, 10% off any of the plans. We've got prop games. We've got nonstop DFS action going right now. NBA is on fire. MMA, NASCAR around the corner. Hockey going strong. So DFS Army, not just about football. We got it all going on there. Where we want to teach you how to use the tools and how to smash. We absolutely crushed last week. Let's do it again. Helmets up, everyone. Take
big time. Knowing that diamonds in my teeth, I got a lot of shine.